Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2020 Florida Recycling Award Winners webinar. I'm Dawn McCormick. I'm Director of the Florida Recycling Partnership and the Chair of the Board right now. This webinar is being recorded and will be available later. We're very excited this morning to hear presentations by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Recycling Recognition Award winner, and we'll also hear from the Florida Recycling Partnership 2020 Recycling Champions. Please feel free to type in your questions throughout the presentations, and at the end we will have a Q&A session. So let's get started with our first award winner. During Florida Recycles Week, which was November 9th through the 15th, FDEP Secretary Noah Valenstein presented Walt Disney World Resort's Disney's Animal Science and Environment Animal Nutrition Center with the department's Recycling Recognition Award. The Recycling Recognition Program was developed to encourage private businesses, institutions, schools, public organizations, and citizens to increase recycling in order to reach Florida's recycle goal of 75% by 2020. The program has recognized more than 60 Florida-based public and private entities since 2010, which have entered their recycling and disposal data into the Florida FDEP Business Recycling Tracking Tool, which is called ReTrack. ReTrack is an easy-to-use tool. It's accessible through the Recycling Recognition Program page on the FDEP website, and it's there for organizations to track, compare, and report their recycling efforts and produce reports on how these efforts are helping to shrink their carbon footprint. So if you're a private citizen or an organization and you believe deserve recognition for your efforts, please go set up an account on that, and Chris Perry at FDEP is available to help you with more of those details. But today we're very excited to have Debbie Weber. She's the Assistant Animals Operation Manager at the Animal Nutrition Center at Disney's Animal Kingdom, a wonderful place to visit. And Debbie's going to tell us about their award-winning program. So good morning, Debbie.
Good morning. Oh, good. And I'm sorry, I'm not seeing where I share my screen. So sorry. Oh, here we go. All right, let me know if you see my presentation started there.
There we go.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm very happy to share information about how we started our quest for zero waste and ultimately received our zero waste certification. We were actually following in the footsteps of the Land Pavilion at Epcot Center. So we were able to share a lot of their best practices. Our start date for this program was in August of 2015, and we had our final inspection date in September of 2016 after only 1 year. So I'm sure you're aware that the zero waste goal is to divert more than 90% of your waste out of the landfill, and we're happy to report that last year our diversion rate was 99.98%. And we do also measure our contamination rate. We average a 1% contamination rate. And the volume of waste that we're talking about, we generate about 200 to 300 pounds of recyclables each and every day. So it is our jobs in preparing the foods for the animals to really look at our actions on how can we reduce, reuse, and recycle. So some simple options that we have chosen is, instead of getting hand soap in non-recyclable plastic bags, we were able to change out our supplies to get recyclable bottles of soap. We reduce paper towels going to the landfill or recycling by using reusable mass towels. It's a cloth towel, and we do have textile services that will wash those for us. On a simple note, we do have a K-Cup coffee machine, and although those K-Cups are recyclable through the Grounds to Grow On program, we have purchased reusable K-Cup containers, so you fill those with the coffee and then you're reducing even the amounts that are going to recycling. So for our cast or employees, we do have reusable plates, cutlery, cups, and even cloth napkins for our team meals. And then we worked with one of our local vendors that supplies some food items for our animals. And instead of recycling cardboard boxes and instead of insulating fiberglass blankets going to landfill, we now use reusable containers. And so we have one set that is empty when the food vendor gets here. We give them the empties and they give us the containers that are filled with foods. We use our empty feed bags as bin liners. It reduces the number of plastic bags that we are using. And then hopefully you can see in the right-hand corner there, that is one of our carts of animal diets. So you can see the fresh produce that we put in the diets. It is the exact same produce that goes to the Walt Disney World restaurants. But we reuse the cardboard boxes that produce comes in, and we're filling up the foods for the animal areas in those boxes as well. Our animals do enjoy displaying their natural behaviors, and we encourage that through a process called enrichment. So the blue and yellow macaws that you see are enjoying shredding a cardboard box. The red-fronted macaws have accessible to them an all-paper feed bag that they can shred up. There's a cardboard tube. We can hide little treats inside there, and even using paperboard boxes. We do also participate in donations to charities and local organizations in need. So a gift for teaching is a local warehouse for teachers. We save our rubber bands from our lettuce supplies that come in, and we also save our berry containers. These items can be used in the classrooms or they can be used for crafting. So when looking at our zero waste certification, a lot of it comes down to the weight of items, and from large items to small items, all of those weights do count. The pallets we reuse, so we get credits for those weights. We use plastic pallets as well as the wooden pallets. We save our single-sided sheets of paper, simply printing on the backs of those. We're just pretty sure that we will mark off the side that's not to be seen, or that is not, you know, what is printed on. So it's obvious which side of the paper you're supposed to be looking at. And then we do sample our food items. They go off to labs in order to determine what are the nutrient levels in those food items. And so we reuse the boxes that we send those samples out in. It's a cardboard box with a styrofoam liner and then ice packs. And when the labs get those for analysis, they will send all of those components back to us so that we can reuse them. So through Walt Disney World, we have a lot of signage for our recycling. It's in multiple languages. It's our Recycle Right program, and it has designations on there of how to recycle items properly. It has our website for information in case our cast members or employees need more information. And it often lists words as well as pictures of what can be recycled and what is not acceptable in those recycling bins, because keeping contaminants out of our recycle bins is a huge effort and a big part of the success of our program. So another part of recycling is closing the loop. So when we have food items that might be molded, or food items that the animals don't eat, if they're leaving leftover foods, we compost all of that food and it turns into fertilizer. Well, we were able to capture some of that fertilizer, bring it back to our facility, and use that as fertilizer on our plants. Now, the hibiscus plants that you see there with the beautiful red flowers, that is actual animal food. So we do cut clippings off of that for the animals to eat the leaves. Gopher tortoises love the red hibiscus flowers. So those plants are being nourished by fertilizer that literally came from the food that we have composted. Now, because those items are food, we have to be very careful about the chemicals that we are using on that. So if we have a pest problem, we have a huge integrated pest management system where the good bugs are eating the bad bugs. If that's not taking care of the problem, you can see one of the little ladybugs there that we have. If that doesn't take care of the problem, then we use a peppermint soap, and that helps. In our kitchen, we do use bay leaves in our food containers, and that is a cockroach deterrent, so that keeps pests down. And then in cleaning our drains, we use baking soda and vinegar. So we are looking for non-toxic chemical options, but also we work with eco-friendly companies and we look at what are their sustainability policies and how do they produce those chemicals, because we don't just want non-toxic chemicals, we want them produced in a way that is also non-toxic for the environment. So we do use our purchasing power. We have a purchasing policy that we purchase recycled content. We have sustainable products policies. Any paper that we buy in all of the Walt Disney World locations must be recycled content. We have a sustainable wood policy. Any wood that is used for any purpose must be sustainable. And we're looking to purchase products that can be reused or recycled. We, as a matter of fact, we do meet with our vendors, and we not only ask them what types of products they have in abiding by these policies, but we also ask them about their sustainability programs, and are they recycling, are they using LED lights and things of that nature. So communication is a big piece of that within our team as well as with our vendors. And we do as much as we can to try and make things easy and make them fun. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the old number of recycle containers that we had throughout our one building. We had 18 recycle bins, and we were finding that people would not put something in a bin if it wasn't easily acceptable. And you can't have all of those in every single room of the building. So we actually did a pretty extreme measure, and we removed all recycle, all trash bins from our building. We literally have one station. It's the middle picture you see there. It's got smaller bins. So if you have something to get rid of, you go to this recycle station. It's got words and pictures of where everything goes, but the top right corner you can see a big question mark. So if people get confused and they're not quite sure which bin to put it in, they put it in the question mark bin, and that works out a lot better than them taking a guess and potentially contaminating one of the recycling streams. Now, we do have a larger recycle station outside of our building where all of these things get emptied, and other departments can add into those items as well. And we had a nice big ribbon cutting ceremony when we opened up that station, and just made it real fun for the team. We also found that making the best choice the easiest option was the way to go. This is an example in our restroom. We were constantly getting trash in the paper towel bin and paper towels in the trash bin. So we made a separation. The trash bin, you literally have to step on the little lever in order to make the top of the bin pop open. And so it's a very conscious effort to have to put something into the landfill. Whereas mostly people have their paper towels from drying off their hands, those are recyclable. And so the easiest bin there is to toss it in the open bin. So in adapting to change, as I mentioned, we talked with our vendors. A simple example of this is we had a vendor who was delivering pallets of food to us that were wrapped in black shrink wrap, and that was not recyclable in our program. So we simply made one phone call. We said, you know, we can take any other color, please change that. And literally by the very next shipment, we had the clear shrink wrap, and we've never had a problem since then. So we definitely make that a part of our routine, is to just notice what are we putting into the different bins, and how can we make sure that that's recyclable, or, as I was saying, reduce it or reuse it. So certainly our waste diversion efforts is one of our many conservation efforts, but we're very proud of that. We were certified as a platinum facility, which is the highest level, and we have maintained our zero waste certification since 2016. So I thank you. That's our program.
That's wonderful, Debbie. Congratulations. Very comprehensive, and I can see why you were honored by FDEP, and congratulations to you and your team. Wonderful work. Now we'd like to transition and begin with the Florida Recycling Partnership's 2020 Recycling Champion Award winners. First, I'd like to thank the awards committee. I had the honor to serve on that committee with Carl Bervin from Bell's and with John Mitchell from Coca-Cola Beverages Florida. And it's the first year we had a formal application and nomination process. Our judges were from the University of Florida. I want to thank Malak Anasazi, who's a graduate research assistant there and who really shepherded those through. And they reviewed the application and selected the 5 winners. Our first for 2020 is Anheuser-Busch. The Jacksonville Anheuser-Busch Brewery is the first North American Anheuser-Busch brewery to achieve a 100% recycling rate. It's found a home for all of its byproduct in waste streams with no waste ending up in the landfill. And they recycled more than 124,000 tons of material the last year. And here is Jennifer Ray to tell us more. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Can everyone see my screen okay? Hopefully.
You're all good?
Okay. Good morning. My name is Jennifer Ray. I am the Resident Environmental Health and Safety Manager for Anheuser-Busch, and I'm really honored to be here today to talk to you all a little bit about our recycling and sustainability initiatives here at the Jacksonville Brewery. So for those of you who are not familiar with Anheuser-Busch, we're actually part of AB InBev globally. We sell more than 475 million barrels of beer a year. And to put that in some more relatable terms for those of you who drink beer, that's actually over 6.5 billion cases of beer. Or if you imagine your normal pint glasses of beer, that's 120 billion pint glasses of beer that we sell a year. We operate in more than 50 countries and produce more than 500 of your favorite beer brands around the world, including more than 100 different ones actually here in the US as well. And a little bit about our brewery here locally in Jacksonville. We are actually the 6th largest AB InBev brewery globally. We operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we employ over 520 people. As you can see, the majority of what we produce actually ends up in cans. So your normal 12-ounce can, your larger 16-ounce cans, and the brand new, very popular sleek cans. And we actually make the most draft beer out of any other brewery in the US. At Anheuser-Busch, we really take great pride in our sustainability efforts and have a long history of environmental stewardship. In April of 2018, we actually reaffirmed this commitment with the launch of our 2025 sustainability goals, as you can see on the screen. And these goals are really designed to contribute to the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, in order to help build resilient supply chains, productive communities, and a healthier environment. And these ambitious goals, as you see on the screen, are really focused on 4 main pillars: water stewardship, smart agriculture, renewable electricity and carbon reduction, and circular packaging. And just like our company globally here at the Jacksonville Brewery, we are committed to that dream of truly bringing people together for a better world. We have been very focused and working on for the last several years environmental sustainability to reduce, reuse, and recycle as many products and processes in our brewery as we can. And we've applied this mindset to not only solid waste, but to water and energy as well. And as you can see some of our achievements up on the screen, our efforts have really led to significant reductions in water, energy, waste, greenhouse gas emissions, and really our valuable natural resources that we consume to bring you the finest beer every day. We're very proud to say that none of our waste ends up in the landfill. In 2019, as mentioned, we recycled over 124,000 tons of materials. And so I'm excited to give you a little glimpse into the materials we use in our byproducts and recycling process for all of them. So as you can imagine, a key recycling stream for us is our packaging materials that you see on the screen. We're focused really daily on cutting any losses that we could have from the line. But we are fortunate in that we do have a home for the material that ends up not being used, whether it's glass, cans, cardboard, lid sleeves, plastic strapping, the backing on all of our labels for our bottles. We do have a home for those, and all out to be recycled. Moving on to the brewing side of things, so the beginning of our process, our Beechwood chips which I think are famously known to everyone, used to age our beer. We'll actually reuse those chips 3 to 5 times, and then when it's at the end of their life cycle, we will actually send them out to be recycled and turned into mulch. And in 2019, we actually sent 120 tons of these beechwood chips out to tree farms to be used as mulch there. Our biggest material that we actually recycle and send out to be reused by others is our spent grain. So after we use that grain to help brew our beer, it is then sent through these dewatering silos, which you can see up on the screen on the left. And then those grains are then transported to cattle ranches all around Florida. And I think we can confidently say that the cows definitely love this spent grain. The smaller particulates that make it through these dewatering silos, we actually then collect those further downstream through some screens, and then we compost that as well on a farm in Callahan, Florida. Yeast. Yeast is used in our process to really turn that wort, the beginning of beer, and turn that into the beer that you love. And so once that yeast has reached the end of its age, we actually also send that out to another farm where they not only distill the remaining alcohol that might be left in there and sell that to gas for companies, but that yeast is then also dried and sold also as cattle feed to some places, as well as to actually some pet manufacturers for dog treats and food that your pets love. Something that is rather new to our brewery, but actually at the end of 2018, to bring us fully to 100% recycling. Before this, we were sitting at approximately 99.9% recycling, and this got us that last 0.1%. We implemented a waste to energy program. And since starting this program, the little bit of waste that we do generate, we have been able to actually power almost 15 homes for 1 year. And around 300 tons from actually ending up in the landfill. So a really fun project to work on there. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're committed to not only reducing, reusing, and recycling our solid waste, but we've been very focused on that same perspective, energy and water as well. So from an energy perspective, we've created several ways to really help save fuel and electricity over the years. Really just put up a couple of our notable processes. We actually have a gas turbine generator to generate most of the electricity that we use on site. It actually, so far year to date, has produced 83% of our electrical needs, as well as we actually return about 80% of our steam condensate to really help reduce the total amount of fuel that we then need to use in our process. And then finally, biogas. I'll talk about that a little bit on the next slide. But about 10% of our biogas actually supplements our fuel needs as well. So something pretty unique to our brewery, we actually have an on-site wastewater treatment facility that you see pictured there. And we really use it. There's tiny microorganisms that we use to treat our wastewater. And the neat thing is that those bugs, as a byproduct, actually produce that biogas that I mentioned. And it does then send back to our powerhouse into our boilers. And like I said, it supplements actually about 10% of all of our natural gas needs, which has been a really big win there for energy reduction. And then we also, when available, we'll sell that biomass of those microorganisms to other companies and help other wastewater treatment plants actually around the country as well too. And then I think one of the most unique and one of the most important processes I think that we have is that, so we do pull most of our water from 3 on-site deep water wells. So it's very important for us to not only be efficient with that water to reduce the amount of water that we are taking out of those wells, but also then return it back to the ground. So through that process, after we treat our wastewater in our wastewater treatment, we actually then send it to our farms. We have 2 farms totaling about 1,500 acres. And we actually, you can see these pivots here in pictures of our farm. We'll actually spray that water onto the fields where we grow various crops that are then harvested and sold for cattle feed and turf to local farmers, and even some places like the DOT. So that's just a little bit of an overview of our recycling process, not only from a solid waste perspective, but water and energy. And we're at 100% recycling, but still driving every day to get better and better. And thank you guys for listening.
Jennifer, thank you very much. That was just great information and we appreciate it. Anheuser-Busch has hosted 2 different recycling summits for us at their Jacksonville facilities, and we're always amazed at the great work you're doing, and we also enjoy tasting a little of the beer. Next up is Darpro Solutions, another recycling champion. Darpro was nominated by Kia Knuckles, and their CEO, Randy Stewie, told us Darling Ingredients prides itself on harnessing its ingenuity to transform food production co-products into ingredients to support a growing population, the essence of sustainability. Darpro Solutions is a part of Darling Ingredients services. It's a key to saving millions of tons of used cooking oil from the landfill in order to create renewable ingredients for feed and fuel. The positive impact Darpro Solutions makes on the environment isn't a secondary initiative, it's their primary objective. They do have 2 locations in Florida, and I'm pleased to turn the program over to Martin Guthrie, their Director of Environmental Affairs and Sustainability for Darling Ingredients, so he can tell us more about Darpro Solutions. So Martin, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay. Thank you. It's very good to be with you today. I'd like to thank the Florida Recycling Partnership, and of course, along with the judges. It takes effort to make these programs happen, and it also provides companies like Darling incentive to tell their recycling story. So, Darling has always operated kind of in the shadows as a rendering company, and has historically not really been viewed as a very sexy business, but we're trying to change that, and so I really appreciate this opportunity. My name is Martin Guthrie. My job as the Director of Sustainability for Darling has been to lead our effort at building a sustainable program and to basically highlight all the good things that come out of Darling. So Darpro Solutions, just like Diamond Green Diesel, which I'm going to talk about a little bit today, is a brand of Darling Ingredients, and I kind of use the terms interchangeably. But I work for Darling and I help promote Darpro and Diamond Green Diesel. Today I'm going to introduce you to Darling and tell you a little bit about our recycling of UCO into renewable diesel and what that means for Florida. So Darling is a global company. We have operations at over 200 locations worldwide on 5 continents. The company has been providing sustainable solutions to the U.S. food industry since about 1882. We were founded in Chicago by Ira Darling. What that means is we collect food waste streams, including slaughterhouse trimmings, butcher scraps, farm mortality, even bakery waste, and of course used cooking oil from food manufacturing and preparation establishments. And through our rendering process, Darpro transforms those waste streams into valuable new resources. Darling's purpose is to repurpose these collected materials and upcycle into sustainable solutions for the food, feed, fertilizer, and even fuel industries. Now, this recycling is not a program that runs in conjunction with our business. This is our business. We don't make a lot of the products you buy, but we do provide many of the important raw materials for those products. With over 130,000 recycling partnerships in the US, Darpro collects material from approximately 20,000 customers just in the state of Florida alone. These are some of the brands that that operate under the Darling umbrella to process around 10% of the world's animal byproducts. So we're going to talk about renewable diesel today, so everybody should know what that is. Unlike biodiesel, which is a methyl ester, renewable diesel is a true hydrocarbon. So renewable diesel can be distributed using the established petroleum pipeline system, while biodiesel requires truck or rail transport. So kind of an advantage there from a logistics standpoint. Used cooking oil is a byproduct that provides a responsible and sustainable feedstock for producing renewable diesel. And it is fully compatible with existing engines and the infrastructure, and has a sustainability carbon intensity that is even lower than soybean-based biodiesel. By repurposing UCO into green diesel, DARPro helps reduce the carbon footprint in our Florida food production industry. DARPro takes this material from prior to biofuel via our processing center and then to Diamond Green Diesel. Now, Diamond Green Diesel is a joint venture between Darling and Valero Energy. And the important differentiator between renewable diesel and biofuel is that renewable diesel or petroleum diesel is that renewable diesel has about an 85% less greenhouse gas intensity. So we currently convert over 2 billion pounds of feedstock into 275 million gallons of renewable diesel at Diamond Green. And construction is underway to expand that to almost 700 million gallons. So DARPro Solutions collected in Florida 129 million pounds of used cooking oil for recycling, and 92 million pounds of that became feedstock for our renewable diesel production. These pounds of UCO were diverted from Florida drains and landfills and repurposed. So that equates to about 10.8 million gallons of renewable diesel just from UCO collected in Florida. The total emissions avoided from not burning fossil fuel is 110,000 metric tons. And even after you take out the energy that DARPro puts into the process, we still avoid over 93,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions. As a bonus, our raw materials basically are quite a bit of water. And so as a bonus, we also take water out of our raw materials and return that water to the environment, and return more water to the environment than we use. So we have a net positive water footprint. So on the right-hand side, you can kind of see what the equivalency is of those avoided carbon emissions. You know, that's the same as taking 18,000 cars off the road. You could make a few trips around the world or a few trips to the moon and back. DARPro will continue working with industrial food production facilities, restaurants, supermarkets, sports venues, casinos, and more to collect their used cooking oil and provide a responsible disposal method, and to ensure that it is not poured down kitchen drains or placed in the trash. DARPro has an entire fleet in the state of Florida dedicated to collecting this material and managing it responsibly. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. You have a great story to tell, and I learned a lot, and I know those on the webinar did as well. Thank you very much. Our next award winner is Florida State University. Go Noles. FSU was nominated by Stephanie Cornay, and in her nomination, she wrote that Willie Wiggins has been with Florida State University since 1998 and is the Director of Waste Management and Recycling. He's one of the unsung heroes of FSU, and he's been quietly making the campus a better place for decades. He's a leader among his staff and colleagues. He finds solutions to any problems, even if it means more work for him. And he's so deserving of this award. And thank you for recognizing him. Thank you, Stephanie, for that nomination. And I want to tell you a little bit more about this award because it's really twofold. It honors Willie for his commitment, but it also recognizes the great work being done on campus. Programs like Chuck It for Charity, the Office Supply Reuse Room, and Surplus Property that supports the reuse of items on campus. And FSU Solid Waste and Recycling Department has recycled 1,322 tons of material, composted 405 tons of material, and donated or resold 1,400 tons in its most recent year of tabulation. That's fabulous. So let's hear from Willie about the recycling efforts at FSU, and congratulations on the award, Willie.
Thank you. Can you see my slide? Can you see my presentation? Hello?
Not yet. We don't see it yet, Willie.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me see. Yeah, thought I had it set up. Okay. All right, let's go back. Sorry about that, y'all.
No problem. While we're waiting for Willie, if you have some questions for our first couple of presenters, please take the time to put those in the Q&A session so that we can get to your questions at the end of the presentations.
So you don't see it? I have it on my screen, but I don't see it on yours. Let me share my screen.
Aaron, are you able to share? I see it now, Willie. There it is.
Okay, so we're there.
Yes.
All right, sorry for the delay, but I want to thank Florida Recycle Partnership, and especially Stephanie for nominating us. We've been in this business, like she said, for a long time, and we have taken a passion to what we do for the university, and with support of the staff that I have here, has made it really rewarding and productive. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this. Like I said, the waste management and recycling program started in a very needed service on campus, and it also developed into a cost-saving effort for the university. From its inception, the internal waste program has successfully removed the extraordinary cost burden from the dealing with the city to provide customized necessary service level coordinated with actual needs. And those needs, you know, with the amount of students we have on campus, space is very limited. And also with this aesthetics on campus, we try to have a beautiful campus, and we really didn't want to see the big dumpsters displayed around campus. So we started out with enclosing the dumpsters and using smaller containers with the waste management part of it. Then we migrated into the recycling that really just took on a nature of itself, and has grown into a full-fledged part of our efforts. This is a slide of one of our trucks that we use for in buildings recyclable papers mainly, and bottles and cans that we have set up in these buildings with central locations. And this is one of the guys that work in the truck that we go to each location to pick up, put in these containers, and haul it back to our facility. Some of our services, we collect recycled material from all administrative, classroom, research, and various departments of the campus. We also bale the cardboard. We shred office paper, bale office paper, scrap metal. We collect computer and electronics. We also process and get it prepared to be shipped to a recycler. Campus construction debris, we have collection sites for that, and a campus yard waste. We also developed over the years a recycled drop-off plastic bottles and cans that we collect from the dorms and off-campus sites. Again, our office space throughout the campus is located in central locations within the departments and buildings. And we service those on a daily, well, we have the system set up in routes that we service daily. These are some of the containers that we use. This plastic bag is a secure bag that we put all the sensitive documents that we collect through a process. And also we ask the departments to tape up the boxes and put confidential and for shred on them. Then we bring them to our facility to process. And this is another program that we have is collecting books from various libraries and departments across campus. And there's tons of them that we prepare for recycling. And through that process, we was fortunate enough to come across a debinding machine. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with it because this kind of surprised me when I ran across it. But what it does is it takes the binders off the books and the covers, and we're left with real valuable resource of the library books and paper that we process. And this is the process here at our facility. Once we get those covers and binders off the books, we bring them to our sorter station. So put it on a conveyor belt, and it takes it up to the shredder and down into the shredder and out through the baler. And after the product, as we go through the process of the paper, we get it prepared and ready to ship for the mill. Some of the final product. And this is actually just off campus. This is about probably less than a month of material that we prepare to ship. We get 40 bales on a semi for shipment, probably once a month or no more than once a month and a half before we have a truck come in and pick it up and deliver it to the mill. These are some of the containers that we collect cardboard in. Cardboard recycling containers are available around campus, buildings, and research facilities, usually found near loading dock or the back of a building. We had an abundance of, when we went into the waste management part of our efforts with the solid waste, rather, or the garbage, we reduced the size of the dumpsters from 8 yard to 4 yard. And as the campus grew, we had to, buildings came up, so we had to take out some of the dumpster locations. So we came up with an abundance of extra dumpsters that we turned into recycle containers just by putting a yellow lid on it, and the customer knows that that's where the cardboard goes. We have it labeled. We also have two vehicles, two dump truck type, flatbed type rail estate trucks that we have going around campus. We put campus in half on the east side and west side, and each truck service all the loading docks in areas that don't have a dumpster. And they'll bring it back to the facility for processing. And this is inside the warehouse, and they'll come and dump it. We have rotators on our trucks that will dump this material on the floor for right now, and we'll hand feed the baler. And this is the final product. And each one of those bales weigh over 1,000 pounds. So it's like half a ton of cardboard that is being processed. This is some of the final product there. And right now, our storage area, getting ready for shipment. And also at my recycle surplus facility, we collect all the e-waste, electronics, process it, separate it, pack it on pallets, saran wrap it. And if you look on the top right-hand corner, those are keyboards, hard drives, any small electronics that we prepare also for shipment. That's one of my loading that truck for shipment. We'll load a 53-foot container for shipment. And that's it. Just to throw out some of the numbers, this past year we did over 2,465 tons of recycling. We saved the university over $100,000 in our efforts, and that's yearly. So with that said, I thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for
Sure, Willie. Yeah, pleased to have you today, and congratulations on great achievements, and also that you can show the bottom line savings to the university, and that it's always great to show the economics of it. So congratulations on the award. We appreciate that great presentation. Our next award winner is Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful, which was nominated by John Mitchell of Coca-Cola Beverages Florida. John wrote that on behalf of Coke Florida, we are pleased to nominate Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful for their monofilament recycling project, their ongoing efforts to focus on protecting the environment, waterways, and also aim to empower and equip our community residents to lead more resilient and sustainable lives of our own. So congratulations to Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful. And they have a lot of programs hear about this morning. So Laura Riska, she is the Education and Marketing Coordinator, and look forward to hearing about your programs, Laura. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Well, good morning. I'm Laura Riska, the Education Coordinator for Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful. Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful is an affiliate of Keep America Beautiful and was formed in 2011 when Keep Hillsborough Beautiful and a similar organization started by the City of Tampa Mayor at the time, Sandy Freeman, merged together. Our mission is to promote a culture of environmental stewardship through volunteer and educational opportunities. And we have three main focuses: waste reduction, conservation, and beautification. Today, I'll be talking about some of Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful's recycling efforts through 4 different programs that we have: monofilament recycling, recycling bins, our annual After Gasparilla cleanup, and our education presentation and outreach. In partnership with Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation, we tackled the problem of protecting local wildlife from becoming entangled in used monofilament. This came out of noticing the large amount of fishing line found in mangroves and on the ground at boat ramps and fishing piers. The solution was to install monofilament waste tubes at docks, accompanied by signs in both English and Spanish.
Laura, we did lose your audio, I believe.
Riverwalk downtown. We found that we could also reduce the amount of contamination of the recyclables by also installing trash cans near the recycle bins. A total of 33 recycling bins have been installed along the Riverwalk, 20 in city and county parks, and an additional 40 recycling bins throughout downtown Tampa. Now, you may have heard about a little pirate party that Tampa throws each year. It's called Gasparilla. It is the 3rd largest parade in the United States and draws as many as 300,000 onlookers each year. One of the coveted items that are collected during the parade are beads thrown by pirates and wenches alike, but with all the revelry comes a major cleanup afterwards. So Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful coordinates an After Gasparilla cleanup the day after the parade. This past January, over 400 volunteers came out and collected 30,000 strings of beads that were discarded or missed, and some were recovered from the Hillsborough River by our divers. Each year, we donate all those beads to the McDonald Training Center, which works with people with disabilities. Their clients clean and refurbish the strings of beads and then sells them back to the parade crews the following year, effectively recycling them all. Finally, Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful creates presentations for schools and for corporate outreach events, effectively reaching approximately 25,000 individuals each year, educating them about recycling. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Laura. Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful is one of the 41 Keep Florida Beautiful affiliates in our state. They do a great job. Our final award winner, Sarasota County Solid Waste, which was nominated by Chaz Jordan of Kessler Consulting. And he wrote, I nominated Sarasota County because of the level of effort and quality they put into the transition of their curbside recycling system. I've had the opportunity to be a part of a number of transitions to single stream recycling, and theirs was by far the most professional, effective, and most well received by the community. So their willingness to work through the challenges of that is really commendable. I'm really proud to have you listen to Wendy Crisp today. She's the outreach coordinator for Sarasota County Solid Waste. She's going to talk about the program they developed for education and communications. They did a wonderful job. So Wendy, look forward to your presentation.
Thanks, Dawn. And my computer has decided it maybe it is not wanting to function, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get my PowerPoint up, or Erin, I may need help from your end. Okay, I'm definitely having technical difficulties here.
No problem.
Sorry
Again,
about that. This was my worst nightmare for today.
I do see it. I do see some cans.
Yeah, that's my screensaver. So, very fun for recycling. And for some reason, my PowerPoint decided it didn't want to work.
Erin, do you want her to not share her screen and you can share her presentation? Would that be better? I see.
There it is.
There you go. Yeah. If you go into the screen, you should be okay.
Somehow I've made myself big and I can't see my screen on my other screen. I promise I practiced this yesterday.
No problem.
I'm at a loss for how to get it back up at this point. I can't even see myself.
We are seeing you, Wendy, in a small screen, and we're seeing your presentation, but it's not in the slide form. If that's helpful.
I had it up in slide form and it just disappeared during Laura's presentation.
Okay.
If y'all are able to pull it up, that's probably easier than me trying to fumble and find it. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Erin, can you join audio?
Yep, give me 1 minute.
I think Erin's working on it, Wendy.
Okay.
Thanks for your patience, everyone. It's worth seeing because Wendy's done a great job at Sarasota County.
I appreciate the plug.
No problem.
There it is. So do I have control to go from page to page?
Maybe Erin, would you like to do the control?
I'll advance it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Go
so I'll
ahead.
just do old school next slide. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, everybody, and my apologies for the technical glitch there. My name's Wendy Crisp. I am the outreach coordinator for Sarasota County Solid Waste. And we are very delighted, honored, and humbled to have been selected as one of the winners this year for the Florida Recycling Partnership Awards. And I'm really excited to share our experience with you. I should probably preface this by saying we did a transition to single stream recycling. This was all pre-COVID. It was about this time last year that we were starting in on the project. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind as
Wendy, I've lost your audio for a minute.
Hey, Wendy, we've lost your audio.
Sarasota County was able to implement a successful transition. In fact, 82% of respondents on a post-transition survey indicated they were very satisfied with the new curbside recycling program. Next. So you can see some of our transition strategies here. And as we develop these, we wanted to focus on ways to address the difficulties associated with the industry and how they've impacted recycling programs around the world. One of the questions our team was frequently asked, obviously, was, why are you transitioning right now? We were undaunted by the challenges associated with developing and implementing a single stream collections program, which demonstrated our commitment to recycling. All right, next slide. So as a bit of background on our recycling program, Sarasota County implemented dual stream recycling in 1991, and it was directed by a charter amendment that was generated and approved by our voters. It was a longstanding program with very ingrained habits. In recent years, the industry has been driving some fundamental changes on how recycling materials were collected and processed, and even how to educate the public on contamination. Our county was forced to take a hard look at our collection operations, and in early 2019, the outlook was bleak. Sarasota County was contending with a recent franchise extension that included the replacement of the hauler's entire recycling fleet due to the age of the split body side loaders, a dual stream processor who was unwilling to renew agreements to process materials. They could not expand or innovate in their current facility. Recycling participation rates that were not increasing proportionately to residential growth. Worldwide media coverage that was negatively influencing the public perception of recycling, back with China and the sword and all of that. And recycling revenues that were turned into a significant expense for the county. With all of these things in mind, Sarasota County had to look at innovative options to address these challenges, manage change, and reset the public perception of recycling. Next slide. With any successful project, you have to pull together the right team. Sarasota County Solid Waste felt it was extremely important to assemble a broad reach of community partners and experts, both inside and outside of the county, to help with the implementation. As a result, there were close to 100 people who helped in one way or another with this transition. They spanned 7 county departments and 5 outside partners, including our hauler, our new single stream processor, our cart provider and distributor, and Kessler Consulting. Next slide. The transition task included setting clear strategies and objectives, creating plans for both operations and communications, and an integrated implementation timeline for both plans, composition studies and reports, and we did not see. With such a large group to coordinate, the county deployed innovative methods for the project's management. FormStack was used as a customer interface online to gather feedback from customers regarding issues with their new recycling carts. And the web-based project management application Smartsheet kept the key transition team connected throughout the project by providing updates on upcoming action items and deadlines, streamlining the response process, and providing accountability for responses. Smartsheet also provided a central location for living documents and plans, allowing all key players to see changes in real time throughout the transition. Next slide. So going into this project, we knew that communication would be key. A generous grant from the Recycling Partnership provided monetary support to engage in a multimedia advertising campaign that included print and online advertising opportunities in the local papers, the Sarasota Herald Tribune and the Observer Group newspapers, 15 and 30-second spots on local iHeartRadio broadcasts. We did a live remote featuring David Jones, who's a morning on-air personality at our America Recycles Day event in 2019. David Jones also did on-air endorsement during his morning show, which is held during drive time radio. We had social media ads, direct mail pieces, utility bill inserts, and we also did a cart welcome packet. The education and outreach messaging was broken down into 2 campaigns. The first campaign ran mid-October through mid-November and focused on cart distribution. And the second campaign ran mid-December through mid-January and focused on the start date for the new collection services. Next slide. So you can see our objectives here, and we knew that there were going to be a number of challenges to address. Some residents just don't like change. Would our residents be concerned about the increased cost of recycling? How do we select the right size containers to balance out demographics for a coastal, seasonal, and elderly population? Could residents be persuaded to believe that materials placed in the cart would actually be properly separated and recycled? How do we help residents understand what is not recyclable? As we all know, acceptable materials vary between local recycling programs. And probably the biggest challenge was the timing of the cart delivery and the start date. Our delivery began in November 1st of 2019, and it took us 7 weeks to get all of those carts out. So our collection didn't physically begin until January 6, 2020. Next slide. So before embarking on the marketing campaign, our team used the existing Sarasota County Recycles logo brand to create a color scheme and guidelines for the campaign's design elements. As you can see from the samples, clean, modern, and straightforward marketing collateral pieces were created with concise strategic messages to address objectives and challenges. So to reinforce the move from bins to carts, we had taglines tailored to the phases of implementation. Our first one was single stream recycling is coming to Sarasota County. Number 2 was let's get ready to roll, which was used for cart delivery. It's time to roll, which was the start of single stream recycling, and slow your roll, we talked about was with contamination and what not to put in the carts. Other key messaging included the support that the county had towards environmental stewardship, our processor state-of-the-art technology that made it possible to properly separate and recycle commingled recyclables. And while the carts were taller than the old dual stream bins, they basically had the same footprint and require movement of only 1 container versus 2. And that there was going to be no change in recycling service. Everything would stay the same with collection days and such. Great, next slide. So over a period of 5 weeks, Sarasota County staff stuffed more than 130,000 welcome packets that included the introduction letter, a how-to guide for residents, frequently asked questions for recycling, a detailed recycling sheet, and a what to recycle magnet. So this is just a sample of all the items that were in our welcome packet. Okay, next slide. This is probably my favorite. These are the walls in my office and the project planning board that we had. I may have taken it a little bit old school, but I redecorated my office here. You can see these are 2 by 3 foot monthly calendars that spanned the months of August 2019 through June 2020. The color-coded sticky notes helped me keep all of the logistics straight. As you can see, the picture on the left, the calendar that's on the left, that was October. And then as you move over to the right on the brown wall, the first 2 calendars are January and February. Or I'm sorry, November and December. So you can see most of the action was pre-cart rollout. After we turned the page to 2020, we all rejoiced and shouted, "New year, new cart." And after months of planning and pre-collection preparation and education, single stream recycling arrived in Sarasota County. We experienced a few hiccups in the beginning, but nothing that wasn't to be expected. All cart related and fleet issues were quickly resolved by the transition team, and single stream collection was running smoothly by February 1st. Great, next slide. So we all know customer feedback is important, and our survey that we put out gave us valuable insight into the recycling behaviors of county residents, gave us a better understanding of how single stream collection had influenced recycling rates, and was giving us accountability and input to guide future solid waste initiatives for the county. All right. Next slide. And you can see some of the results from our first and second quarters here. During the first quarter, we saw a 14% increase in the average recycling collected household, which equates to 5 pounds per month per household. And during the second quarter, we saw a 22% increase in average recycling collected per household, which equates to 6 pounds per month per household. All right, and then we did just finish our third quarter. I don't have those numbers just yet, but if anybody's interested in those, that's something I'll be able to share with you. Great, next slide. So as we reflect on the project that at times felt like we were eating, breathing, living, sleeping, thinking, dreaming about 24/7, we feel a great sense of success and accomplishment. There's something very satisfying about seeing the blue single stream recycling carts in use as we cruise through the neighborhoods in Sarasota County.
When we did lose your audio for a second there.
Favorite education pieces that we put out. Next slide. And that concludes our presentation. I think we'll have some questions, but if anybody's interested about our program, our contact information's there, and please reach out. Thank you for the opportunity.
Congratulations, Wendy. A really great rollout and a lot of resources, but you did an amazing job of keeping that all straight. I'm old school too, so I appreciate that. Congratulations on your successful launch. And it's time now for question and answers. We're a little past noon time, but I think if you'd like to stay on, we'd love to have our presenters join back on their cameras. And I'm going to turn it over to Keena Corey, who's our Executive Director of the Florida Recycling Partnership, who put this all together, her and her staff, Erin Ballas, and did a great job today. So Keena, take it away.
Thank you so much. So we have our first question is for Debbie about your paper towels. You talked about being able to recycle some of your paper towels. Are they being recycled or are they being used for compost?
Actually, we have both opportunities. We have started putting them in with our food compost, so they are going to a compost facility. But then we have a low-grade paper recycling stream through our vendor who picks those up, and we're able to recapture low-grade paper, such as our pellet bags that has a paper and a plastic liner. They can separate that out, and paper towels are acceptable there, as well as masking tape.
Very cool. Next question's for Jennifer. It says you've got a great recycling program going on in Jacksonville. What are your other facilities in Florida doing? Are they as aggressive as you are in your recycling?
Great question. I'm not sure their exact recycling rates. We do have one metal container, so they make all of our cans for our product in Florida. But yes, everyone's driving towards 100%. Actually, the waste to energy project that my environmental manager really spearheaded is a best practice. And I know a lot of other facilities are looking. Most of our facilities are sitting around 99.9% recycling actually at this point. So I can't speak exactly for metal container over on the west side of Florida, but most are trying to get to that 100% as well too.
Wonderful. And the metal container port that you guys have, we toured that, I want to say last year, the year before, and it's amazing that every little scrap of aluminum that's used, that's not used, goes back to the manufacturers so that you can make more cans. Just 3 billion cans a year, I think, is the number from there. So great job for Anheuser-Busch. Martin, how many locations do you have in Florida?
Well, in addition to the around the 20,000 partnerships that we have with restaurants and suppliers of UCO, we process those. I think we have three main facilities and maybe some smaller collection facilities that feed into those. So I think it's 3 main ones.
Wonderful. Willie, who buys your e-waste? Oh, I think your mic's, I think you're muted. Try one more time. There you go. Nope, you're still muted. Sorry about that.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
We have a vendor out of North Carolina called Powerhouse that we've been dealing with for about 10 years now.
And they take all kinds of e-waste.
All of our e-waste, and they're certified. They have all the certifications, and we make sure they meet all the certifications.
Perfect. Laura, about Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful, how did you get involved with the I can never say that right, monofilament recycling? How did that come to y'all as an idea?
Well, just the fact that there seems to be quite a problem. As I mentioned, we found lots of monofilament at the boat ramps, at fishing piers, tangled in the mangroves. And we knew that also our wildlife was suffering because of it. So we saw a real need for it and decided to do a study and see what we could do to remedy it.
That's great. That program, and I love also your bead program for Gasparilla, being able to recycle those. I know I've got some of my beads hanging around here someplace, so I keep a few, but I'm glad you're recycling the rest. And then Wendy, you cut out a little bit on your presentation, but remind me, can you do a video that we could go to your website and look at about the screen? That it was a cute way to promote your rollout program?
Yes, if you go to Sarasota County Government's YouTube channel and search for single screen recycling from October 2019, you'll be able to see a fun video that we produced. Just for some background, the GEIS was that the coworkers were coming in to help me practice for a PSA.
It's really cute. Make sure.
I have a quick question for Wendy. How is the contamination level? Because we obviously all work on that together statewide.
So I know that we just did our kind of post-implementation study. I don't have that data at my fingertips right now, but I know that it has just come into our department. So if you want to follow up with me later, I can get you that information. But we were supposed to do a post study in March or April, and it was postponed due to COVID. So they just were able to finish it up this fall.
Great. Well, hopefully with all the great education you did up front, that you'll be in a good position. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Well, Dawn, those are the only questions that we have for right now. And if anybody else has a question, our panelist has a question for another panelist or another comment that you'd like to make.
Well, if not, we want to be cognizant of everyone's time during the holidays. We want to really thank everyone who's joined us for the 2020 Recycling Award Winners webinar. We certainly want to thank our presenters who did a wonderful job putting their presentations together. Just great information. And I don't know about you, but I'm just so excited about the really good things that are happening in Florida around recycling and sustainability, and great effort. So thank you for all the good work you're all doing. And so on behalf of the Florida Recycling Partnership and our friends at Florida Department of Environmental Protection, we really want to wish you all a really merry holiday season and a happy new year. And please stay safe and healthy, keep recycling, and keep sharing your great stories so that we all together, we can really make Florida the leader in sustainability in this country. So happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.